All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, excited to be talking with an individual who has a key fight going at Unified MMA 42. It's happening December 17th. We've got a lightweight championship bout. Hubert Geven and Shane Campbell taking place, and happy to be welcoming Shane back onto the show. How's the day going so far, man?
Yeah, pretty good. I've just been running some hyperbaric chambers and did some pads earlier and got jits at Little Sweatshop coming up here shortly.
So still getting in that great work over at Shaved Bears MMA?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We got a pretty solid lightweight crew there, so it's working awesome.
Yeah, like what specific lightweights are you working with there? Like I think Matt Krayco works there, and there's a couple other lads, but who are you working with in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, there's me, Cole, Campbell, Neil Anderson, Mike Scarcello. So the four of us are all in around the same weight, and we all each have our strengths. So it's bringing something great to the table, all four of us working together.
Yeah, those are all very talented guys. I imagine the skills are getting sharpened a fair bit, but kind of wanted to, address the last fight a little bit there, just in the context of like some of the, pre-build, just with the change last minute there. Was that the tightest opponent switch you've ever had, just in terms of like finding out you'd be facing someone new?
Oh, absolutely. I haven't really had someone switch out even like the week of my fight, where that one was, I was just walking down to the venue to go get ready, and that's when I got the call.
Yeah, that's just a wild situation. I mean, I still don't know what happened with that, so I'm not trying to speculate or cast aspersions or anything of the sort, but I also wanted to bring it up because it seemed like, Matt Krayco was an individual that you gained a measure of respect. Not that you didn't respect him before, obviously, but you seemed very appreciative of him getting in there thereafter and everything like that.
Yeah, he wasn't scared.
What was it like getting out there after the hiatus, though? Like, was it just a refreshing, cathartic thing getting back out there after a bit of a dormant period competitively?
Yeah, it's super refreshing. I mean, there's definitely something to be said for ring rust, and if I had any after that long break, I definitely shook it off.
Yeah, I mean, nothing from my layman perspective I was picking up in that regard. Like, you seemed like you got out there and kind of reintegrated yourself smoothly to competing, but it kind of seems like your opponent is in a similar spot in that regard, just not competing as of late. So it's kind of interesting. It's like, are you preparing off of like some of the prior footage from a few years back? Is there, I guess what I'm asking is like, is there a separation from competition whereby you're kind of like preparing to a degree, but also like, okay, there might be a few variables he's bringing to the table I'm not seeing in available tape?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really find too much footage on him, and I know that I'm a fighter that can change quite a bit within 1 year. So, like you said, footage from a few years back is hard to really take any judgment on. I don't really pay too much attention to preparing specifically for any one opponent. I've had so many injuries over the years. I just kind of base my training on what I can and work around what injuries I have. Mostly just try to prevent any new ones coming in before the fight. I'm a veteran, and I'm pretty confident to take anyone on, especially anyone that's not inside the UFC right now. I'm not too worried. I could wake up tomorrow and fight any which one of them. So.
Yeah, and I mean, going to 155 for this one, not that 165 is completely unfamiliar to you, but it seems like maybe 155 is like the optimal weight category in your mind.
Oh, and absolutely. Making 155 pounds is one of the biggest, one of the hardest parts of for me fighting right now. Fighting at making 165 for my last fight was far easier, but making 155 is definitely a struggle for me. I mean, anyone that shows up at that weight to fight me, they're gonna, if they didn't cut as much, they're gonna have a bit of an advantage when, losing that much water weight within a couple hours, it takes its toll on your cardio. And with it being a 5-round fight, it's not in my favor to cut all that weight, but I got a belt that I got to defend, so it's all business.
Yeah, and I mean, the last time we were talking, there was dialogue about the previous work you'd had at Extreme Couture. I imagine just with the close proximity to the last fight, you've mostly been working at Shaved Bears, but have you gotten out to Extreme Couture subsequent to the last fight, or just mostly Shaved Bears work out there?
No, mostly just the Bears right now, that, and I've been cross-training some snowboarding, so staying active.
Oh, that's cool. Is that like something you enjoy to do, like an athletic means of like decompressing, getting away from fighting, like a hobby kind of deal?
Yeah. I mean, it's just nice being out in nature, especially up on a mountain with phenomenal views. Right, even if it's cloudy down here, you just get above the clouds in the mountains and get that sunshine.
Oh, I mean, it's a gorgeous area to like just take in some of the picturesque views and stuff like that. Do you have any go-to spots you find yourself hitting up with the snowboarding a fair bit?
Yeah.
What are some of the good vantage points? Maybe there's some people in the area that want to go peep them.
I mean, I was just at Lake Louise, and that hill is pretty phenomenal. But sunshine environment here in Alberta, especially, is some of the ones close to me where I can get to within a few hours. And Alberta here is pretty sweet. You don't need to be vaxxed or anything, so no passports needed. Just a negative test, and you can go do whatever you want. Get up on the mountains and shred those hills.
Yeah, I mean, Lake Louise, that would be an incredible place to be. Obviously, one of the more gorgeous places out there, but tons of different options. And just kind of talking about the unified efforts overall over the years, like the undefeated record, and seems like you're getting close to the double-digit figures there. I'm kind of curious, like, do you, like, just with the year kind of closing out too, like, do you have any, I guess, are you a guy that creates New Year's resolutions, like specified goals for, say, the coming year? And to that point, like, what would the goals be for 2022?
No, nothing I've ever everyone makes it some, and nothing I've really stuck that hard by. But we all have some goals here and there, right? So, no, just keep plugging away some wins. Hopefully, get back to the UFC. That's the main goal. That's been one of the New Year's resolutions for a couple of years now.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a few variables that are at play that could help with that. I mean, just, like I said, the undefeated record in the promotion, you've got multiple Unified MMA belts, and just also it being on UFC Fight Pass. So it seems like a perfect storm in that regard.
Absolutely. I really thought the last one was going to help get me there, but, another good showing. And mostly, like any step up, we need that highlight finish. Is really going to be what puts me over the edge. Not that anyone doesn't think I can do it. It's you got to still be producing. So
yeah, I get what you're saying in that regard. But I mean, a multi-talented individual, like, I mean, MMA, obviously you've carved out quite a path. But the last time we were talking, you mentioned possible Muay Thai options and even bare-knuckle boxing options. Is that something maybe you'll be looking at, or maybe just solely MMA, going to the UFC path kind of deal?
Yeah, I mean, I just got this fight ahead of me, and then whatever doors open up after that, I'm open to all options.
Yeah.
And I got a few years left, so I want to get as many in as I can.
Yeah, because last time we were talking, you were saying you were also champion under the Fight Night banner, and they also offer the bare-knuckle boxing. Has that been something you've been thinking of for a decent period of time? Because I do some, like, BKFC coverage and stuff like that. Like, when did the bare-knuckle boxing idea start, I guess, germinating for you?
Well, I'm signed with Fight Night as well as Unified. I'm one of the champions for Fight Night here in Lethbridge in Alberta. So they offer Muay Thai, bare-knuckle boxing, and MMA. As soon as they fire up the next show, I'll be headlining that with either defending my title or fighting for one of those other two sports. Depends. I mean, in my scenario right now, it's who in Canada is actually willing to fight me. There's a lot of people that, just won't. And even for Unified right now, we got to pull someone in from Holland. A champion from the Netherlands to be able to fly all the way to Canada here just to compete. I've ran through the rest of the competition here in Canada, and if there's any 155ers that are willing to step up, for my fight night I got the 165 title, so there we go, 165. Anyone in Canada, let's step up. Otherwise, yeah, I'll be doing Muay Thai or bare-knuckle. Maybe there's some boxers that want to come at me for the bare-knuckle boxing. I've done my job, got the titles, now I'm kind of sitting back and waiting for other people to challenge me.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you're definitely in the spot to be challenged, not seeking it out necessarily. But is there something cool to be fighting a champion out of Holland? I imagine it's frustrating to, have the difficulties with getting domestic options and domestic pugilists to kind of get in there with you. But, I mean, that could also maybe help the UFC angle in a certain sense, just with the international kind of implications to it.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely brings a more worldly crowd to the show. I know people from all around watch Unified for years, even before we got to the Fight Pass. But there's a lot more eyes on us now, and now bringing champions in from the rest of the world, it does raise Unified to a higher standard, and that just proving how good of a show that is there. So I've been usually the one to travel into foreign countries and fight the hometown guy, but I'm excited to, the rules are going to be reversed for this one.
Well, that's a fair kind of thing you brought up. I don't think I've ever asked you about that, because you've competed in Unified MMA on and off for a decent while there. You've even fought, for them back in 2012, for instance. And I remember seeing you cage side fighting Tristan Connolly for my first, Shane Campbell Unified MMA effort. Can you speak to just, I guess, the growth with the promotion and by proxy, your growth in that same timeline?
Yeah, just consistency, you know what I mean? There's Unified's the only promotion that's been continuously going, and in all those years I as well was continuously going and growing and competing. It's been exciting to grow alongside another company and all the fighters that come with it too. I mean, it was only just recently that I joined up with the Shaved Bears, but we're producing the most MMA fighters out of Edmonton, that's for sure.
Yeah, and there's a legacy kind of component to the Shaved Bears too in a lot of ways, especially with Unified MMA. I mean, the amount of championship belts that are in that space from, you guys with Unified MMA is pretty wild, I would imagine. Tanner Bozer, obviously, KB, Christian, etc.
Yeah, I mean, this next Unified is pretty much the Shaved Bears versus everyone else. So it's great energy in the gym, that's for sure.
And I feel like I should talk to you about that a little bit, because I've talked to some of the other entrenched kind of Shaved Bears about just how it feels to be competing on a card. Like you said, I mean, it seems like a few cards there's been almost a Shaved Bears versus everybody kind of vibe, and a lot of the guys speak to a compounding motivation almost kind of effect. There's a mounting energy as you see each Shaved Bear kind of get out there and get the victory. Are you looking forward to that kind of feeling? Do you think that's going to be a part of this card at all? Or is that not going to, inform the performance in a compounded kind of way?
Yes and no. This is very much a team sport, but it's also a very individual sport, right? You're the only one in that cage taking the punches. Some of our coaches and teammates, they, to watch your teammate take a beating, you emotionally feel that too, right? As well, when they win titles or defend titles, you as a teammate, you emotionally feel that. So there's the amount of energy going back and forth is so intense in and around a fight, especially when we have 4 or 5 of us all competing on the same card and a couple titles within there. So the energy is great. Sometimes when you're doing things on your own and, the morale is just not as easy to keep as high as it once was.
Yeah, I appreciate the insights in that regard. Definitely well articulated. But it's always fun talking to you, man. Great getting to have you on the show before the different fights, but I want to be mindful of the schedule and all that too. So to that point, is there anything you maybe want to add as a parting thought as we're wrapping up here, man?
No, just, tune in if you want to see me putting on some more highlights. I got tricks up my sleeve. I got more Hadoukens, toe stabs, dragon kicks. I mean, there's a few super uppercuts I've been working on, so who knows what I can actually pull out. I'm most likely going to knock this guy out and then bring him by the office, throw him in some chambers, and heal him up. All right, so that's it. Just huge shout out to Apothic Naturals and Wellness, where I am right now. We offer the hyperbaric chambers and a few other holistic approaches to healing the body. And Chikuni Outdoor Sports in the middle of Canada here, they got they're the guys to take you out, canoe trips, hunting, or whatever else the great outback has got for you.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. And yeah, the recuperation's such a key part of the whole thing, and you've always been on top of that. But I'm definitely going to be on top of checking out this fight card here, and that goes down on December 17th. People can check out Unified MMA 42 on UFC Fight Pass, lightweight title between Hubert Geven and Shane Campbell. And yeah, to reiterate, great having you on the show as always, man. Thanks for coming on, and yeah, you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm looking forward to checking out the fight there.
Cheers. Thank you.